So just looking at a couple different styles of woodworking blades, there's a combination blade, and usually that has about 50 teeth on it for a 10-inch blade. And you'll see an alternating tooth pattern between raker teeth, which is straight across the top, and then alternating bevel teeth. So it is nice if you're going to do joinery, for instance, like grooves for cabinet parts. It'll give you that nice flat bottom when using a combination blade. Now, it's also good because you can do both ripping and cross-cutting with that. So with one blade, you can kind of handle most things in your shop. But you also need to figure out how wide you want your blade. Do you want to go with a thin kerf blade for underpowered saws, or are you going to stick with a full kerf blade? These two blades are basically the same thing, a 50-tooth combination blade. This one just happens to be in a full kerf. And that's great for cutting grooves in cabinet parts, but lately I've been using less of the full kerf blades and more of the thin kerf variety. And that's just great because I have two saws. One is a full 3-horse cabinet saw, and the other one's a little bit underpowered. So it doesn't matter which saw I'm using the blade on, these thin kerf blades will always work. But they have the same tooth geometry, that alternating bevel plus raker, so you know you're going to get a flat bottom groove. The thin kerf version is an LU83 versus the full kerf version, which is an LU84. You also need to make sure to match the riving knife with the blade that you're using. For instance, you wouldn't want to have a full kerf riving knife with a thin kerf blade because your workpiece would definitely hang up on you. Another blade I'll use quite often is this 40-tooth general purpose blade. This is an LU86, and it's got a little different tooth geometry. And so instead of having any raker teeth, it's just got alternating top bevel teeth. That's geared towards really precise cuts with veneer or sheet goods. But what you sacrifice is you won't get a flat bottom groove for joinery work. Tooth count is a primary consideration as well. Usually 40 to 50 teeth is perfect for general purpose work. The fewer teeth you have on a blade, the better it'll be with ripping style cuts. But the more teeth you have, it just means it'll give you a cleaner crosscut. Now, I've had pretty good luck with the combination blades and general purpose blades, so I don't really have many dedicated cross-cutting blades, but I do have a couple dedicated rip blades. And those will usually be in the 24 to 30 tooth range, but honestly, the 24 tooth blades that I've tried in the past, they leave a little bit of a ratty cut quality. And so lately I've settled on these glue line rip blades. They've been performing really nice for me. And I use them in a thin kerf version for my underpowered saws, and a full kerf version if I really want to make a wide groove and want to be able to hit that in 2 passes. But if you're only going to pick up one of these, I might say go with the thin kerf glue line rip, simply because it'll produce less sawdust and you can use it on just about any table saw. And there's yet a different tooth grind on this one. It has what's called a triple chip grind, and that's raker teeth, and then every other tooth has the corners knocked off at a 45-degree angle. And that's what gives these glue line rip blades such a nice swirl-free finish. Just remember, these are dedicated blades, really only made for ripping cuts. So if I could only have one table saw blade, I would probably go with a 50-tooth combination blade or a 40-tooth general purpose blade, definitely in a thin kerf variety for me, so long as I had a thin kerf riving knife to match. I don't tend to have a lot of dedicated crosscut blades, but I do like to have a couple of dedicated ripping blades in the shop. And the best one for me there is a 30-tooth glue line rip, either in a thin or a full kerf. So that kind of rounds out my collection, my favorites on table saw blades. Links will be down in the description box, so check that out to get the correct model number and make sure you're getting the best price on these. Thanks for checking it out. See you on the next one.